This week, while Rupert Lowe's grooming gang inquiry has been revealing the atrocities committed against British children by predominantly Pakistani rape gangs, we have seen the government closing down access to court records, and we learn critical evidence on grooming gangs may have been destroyed by the Ministry of Justice and West Yorkshire Police, despite the specific request in the Casey report for all such evidence to be kept. To uphold the fantasy that diversity is our strength, it appears the British state is once again attempting to cover up the details of industrial-scale child rape and torture by an imported community. I'm Rafe Hadel-Manku. This week, the Ministry of Justice ordered the deletion of the UK's largest court reporting archive, Court Desk. This essential tool helps countless campaigners and journalists monitor and analyse what is going on in our courts and inform the public of what's taking place. This is an unquestionably sinister development, which has raised alarm amongst MPs, and a number of theories have been put forward. Toby Young has suggested this is to hide the epidemic of rapes and murders by so-called asylum seekers, many of whom are being housed in 4-star hotels with your taxes. But it seems more probable that this is in fact just the latest stage in the decades-old cover-up of Pakistani child rape gangs. Last year, Robert Jenrick demanded proper access to grooming gang court transcripts after a Bradford judge blocked their release on the grounds it was contrary to the public interest. This is simply a cover-up. The details of those transcripts are so horrifying that it was the publication of similar transcripts that famously caught the attention of Elon Musk. In many cases, what those imported gangs did to those little girls was not simply rape. Many were also tortured. Some were killed. Scenes that would certainly qualify as war crimes in a conflict setting. Indeed, the Lowe inquiry revealed just this week that one of these men put a cigarette out on a baby's face. The British state does not want these transcripts publicly available, and now we see the same British state closing down a critical tool of courtroom reporting. But the cover-up deepens even further. If you recall, Louise Casey published a crucial report into the grooming gangs, which blew away the establishment myth propagated by countless left-wing journalists, charities, and NGOs that the majority of grooming gangs were white. This slur was simply cooked books from the Home Office and the police forces. As Casey laid out, this vile propaganda was not based on evidence or data. As part of her report, she called for the government to ensure all relevant data and records were preserved for a forthcoming public inquiry. Did the Labour government enact this request? No, they didn't. Robbie Moore MP confirmed in a hearing this week that using Freedom of Information requests, he found that neither West Yorkshire Police nor the Bradford Safeguarding Partnership have received any such instruction from the Home Office.
Now, I've done a Freedom of Information request to West Yorkshire Police and to the Bradford Safeguarding Partnership. Both of those organisations have not received any formal directive from the Home Office asking for no grooming gang records to be destroyed, and specifically saying that those records should be retained for a national inquiry.
This is deeply sinister. We now need to know from the Home Office and the Home Secretary, Shaban al-Mahmoud, exactly which agencies and departments, if any, were ordered to preserve evidence as called for in the Casey report. Elon Musk, in response to the Lowe inquiry, has said that he will help fund prosecutions against British officials complicit in the cover-up. A noble gesture, but given the scale of complicity involved, truly the worst scandal in British history, I'm not sure even Elon Musk has the funds to bring all the guilty parties to justice. The cover-up efforts are also coming from the Islamists themselves and their allies on the left, including well-known law firms. Our very own Emma Trimble and GB News' Patrick Christie have been subject to a shameful wave of threats from Islamists who are coordinating mass complaints to Ofcom. What was the offence? Emma and Patrick discussed the religious angle of these rape gangs, the targeting of non-Muslims by Muslims. This is widely documented, a simple statistical fact, including the use of anti-white slurs in many instances. Many were exposed in those very court transcripts the British state is now trying to suppress. One particular instance that Emma cited was an Eid celebration that involved raping multiple white children. The problem for the Islamists and their allies is that this was documented in a British courtroom, and the men were convicted. Fiona Goddard, the brave survivor in question, has confirmed as such. If you believe in the value of the work the New Culture Forum does, please do become a member. You can receive several benefits ranging from exclusive member content, invitations to private events, visits to our studios here, a chance to meet the NCF team, and a lot more. You can join via the link below or via our website. Thank you, and back to the show. What are British MPs doing about journalists being threatened by hostile sectarian mobs for reporting widely documented facts tried in a court of law? Should Ofcom dare to sanction GB News for reporting the reality of these atrocities, then we really are in dangerous waters. The British state, Parliament and the Labour Party need to show whose side they're on. Racist child rape gangs or the British journalists reporting on them. As the SDP's latest immigration paper shows, even some on the left are now conceding that certain cultures simply cannot and should not be accommodated. No society is obliged to welcome and tolerate those who wish it harm or who commit atrocities against their children. The problems of mass migration and diversity go well beyond just the child rape gangs that successive governments have imported. Mass third world low-skilled immigration has been deeply damaging to the economy, with the majority of such migrants being a fiscal drain, a disproportionate burden on welfare and social housing, committing disproportionately high rates of crime, particularly violent crime and sexual assaults, and causing deep cultural tensions, to the point that David Betts, Professor of War at King's College London, now predicts the UK is headed for civil war. As America's Vice President J.D. Vance famously laid out in his Munich speech, the reason Britain and the EU are so hostile to free speech is chiefly to suppress one idea, one reality, that mass third world migration has been seriously damaging. Diversity is our strength is one of the most misleading and discredited ideas in modern history. It is a sham that is crumbling all around us to the sound of detonations and clinking machetes. This is why the media is so discredited. This is why the hard right are surging across Europe, now polling at 24%, according to The Economist. So the last book that Peter Whittle, our founder and director, commissioned was a book looking at mass immigration in the whole. How has it impacted crime, the economy, culture, free speech, the teaching of history, the role of Islam? We are a generation into this experiment, but it is no longer an experiment. It is a reality, and the data on that reality is deeply shocking. And we are now proud to release this book, entitled Immigration, The Betrayal of Britain, written by multiple authors, including myself, Peter Whittle, William Clouston, Alf Mehmet from Migration Watch, and many more well-known commentators. This book gives you the facts the political class is still trying to hide. We believe it is the most important book we've ever written. It is a handy resource for the great British public to be equipped with the facts and the figures that will enable them to defend themselves and push back against this madness. This confirms the gut feeling that so many of our viewers have suspected for so long. So please do buy your copy, either from Amazon or from the very sound Old Speak bookshop. It's an imperative that we all take action as soon as we can. Thank you.
time to unite the kingdom.